Welcome everyone to Sunday. Today I want to jump on and just talk briefly about the big job dilemma in this country. And do you have a passion for what you do? I mean, it's interesting. Part of my phase 3 challenge is to meet a stranger every day. So sometimes I'm in a networking event, sometimes at another event, but oftentimes I will meet someone in a store. So usually an employee of the store. Maybe it's the person checking me out. Maybe it's the person helping me out. And I'll just ask a few questions. I'll introduce myself, I get their name, ask a few questions. And a few people I've asked, do you like working here? And some people have said no. And I'm kind of like shocked because if you don't like working someplace, I mean, I've been at jobs where I just couldn't stand it. I mean, the one I really couldn't stand, I was only there for 8 months. I found another job and I got out. There's always going to be things that you don't like about a job. That's different. I mean, there's no job that's perfect. Even if you own your own business, there's that's not perfect all the time. But if you come out and say to me, no, I don't, why are you there? So I'm in T-Mobile today, paying off my two phones that I still have on contract there. And I asked the guy, I'm having a conversation. I asked the guy, how long have you worked here? He's worked there for 6 years. Oh, great. How do you like it? Or do you like working here? No. I'm like, but why are you still here? Like, I mean, 6 years is a pretty long time in the span of a life. Now he's young. I'm guessing he's in his mid to late 20s. Maybe he's a little older, but I'm guessing mid to late 20s. He's young. But if you don't like what you do and you don't have a passion for what you do, why do it? And the answer I really got from most people was the money. Now, apparently T or sales in the cellular industry is good. I have no idea. What had no idea. But if you really don't love what you do and you don't feel like you can make a bigger impact in the world every single day, then figure out what you do love. So I'm talking to him a little bit more and I said, "Why don't you find like if you're really good in sales, go find a different sales job that maybe gives you more passion." And he finally, kind of came out with a different shift in his career potentially. I said, well, why don't you start that while you're still here, and start building that because it was something he could actually do on the side for a little bit until he built the brand and, created the strategy and whatnot. He's like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking to do. Okay. So at least there's a plan formulating in his head, but 6 years is still a long time. It's a long time. I thought 8 months was a long time for the job I had in my 20s that I had to get out of. Then I talked to somebody at CVS. This was a few days ago, and this young woman was there, and I asked her similar questions, and she also didn't like working there, but she was in school to become a midwife. So the schedule fit, it was money, the schedule fit. I still kind of encourage her, like, maybe there's something else that might work that you're a little more passionate about, but if they're willing to work with her on her school schedule, then I understand that. Sometimes you won't get an employer that's willing to work with you. And a bigger company like a CVS has that, capability to do that. So I get that. And then I also met someone at Dollar Tree. Well, I'm guessing Dollar Tree and Walmart are kind of in the same arena. Haven't hit the Walmart side yet. And she was kind of the same thing. She'd been there a fairly long time. Money wasn't good. I actually asked her how the money was there. I don't know what that means exactly, but I'm guessing close to minimum wage or maybe a little above. She also said, it was a job basically. And it sounded like they were a two-family income and that, I don't know what her husband did, but there were kids at home. So it's a job. And finally I met somebody, the last person I'm going to talk about, met someone a couple of weeks ago who worked as a tow truck driver. Also, kind of the same thing, like just wasn't super passionate about his job. but apparently they make decent money, and decent money means kind of above minimum wage, decent for them. But all of them, I'm just like, what's the matter with like today's society that we go to work and we're not looking for something we're really passionate about? Even if even when I was in the tennis industry and there were times, hey, Nat, how you doing? And there were times that I didn't love what I was doing at the time, but I always found redeeming qualities in what I did. I loved working with the kids. I liked being outside. I liked the activity. So I always found like the positives. And yeah, the money was good, but I was also trying to think about what my next steps were. I went back and got my master's in business. So I did things while I was there to move me forward on my next journey, which is part of this one. But it's interesting to me that there's too many. I mean, I talked to my stepdaughter who's 18 and she's the same way. She's going after jobs because she knows the money's good, but she doesn't necessarily have any passion for it, as opposed to something that she may want to do down the road. So maybe this job would be a good stepping stone to get to that point, but that's not in her mind. Her mind's all about the money. So we're putting the money above passion. And when you think about it, you work so many hours. I mean, think if you work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and I haven't done the math, and I'm probably not going to be able to do it in my head, but 40 hours, let's say 40 hours a week, say times 50 hours or 50 weeks a year, whatever that equates to be. I mean, that's a lot of hours just in 1 year. That's a ton of hours in 1 year, let alone 6 years, like the person that I was speaking to at T-Mobile today. That's a ton of hours that maybe you could have found a different job that you were a little more passionate about that really would have lit your life up. If we think about it, everything we do impacts other things we do. So if we're miserable in our job, and I'm not saying the guy was miserable in his job because he wasn't, but if I'm unhappy in a job or I don't have the passion in the job, that also impacts my family at home. That maybe impacts, because I don't have the same energy when I come home. I come home and I'm just like exhausted, or I come home and I want to sleep, or I come, it's hard to compartmentalize in this world. And a lot of people are good at it, but is that the best thing? I mean, wouldn't you rather feed off your energy in different places in your life? Meaning, wouldn't I rather, have a great job, even when I'm working for someone else, or enjoy, being out on my own, and then come home and I'm like passionate about being at home? I mean, all those things play off of each other. And I think when we really think about it, our life here is a small piece of obviously the larger time span in this world. There's been a lot of people before us. There's going to be a lot of people after us. So why not make the biggest impact we can? And I'm not telling you to go out and quit your job and go find a different job, but think about what you want to do and how you can serve the best in this world. And maybe whether it's people, whether it's animals, however you serve, what lights you up. And maybe it is time for you to start your own company. There's more and more small business owners coming out. There's more people starting small businesses. Maybe it is time for you to go that direction. Or maybe you don't want to do that. That's okay too. But find something you're passionate about. And if you do need any assistance, and say you are interested in possibly starting a small business, kind of like the guy I was talking to in T-Mobile today, reach out to me. I'm happy to at least point you in the right direction. I do business coaching for startup companies, but if I'm not the right fit, I can point you in a different direction. Reach out to me. Go to dreamplanstartgrow.com, and there you can set up a complimentary consultation. It's a 30-minute consultation. We can kind of talk about what you're wanting to do, whether my help would be warranted, or I can point you in a different direction. But I love helping people that are wanting to build that passion in their lives, that are wanting to do more in their lives. So I hope you have the great rest of your Sunday, great rest of your weekend, and looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Have a good one.